single girl that kind of grew up the same way I did looked at Vashtie.
She's a designer, artist, music video director, and trendsetter.
In today's day and age, everyone is cool because we have social media and the internet to show you how to dress. It's funny because the only kids that showed up to casting were those 3 kids. Wow. And they happen to look just like those artists.
You were the first female ever.
First woman to design in Jordan.
That's history. Like
yeah.
You're supposed to be going around the universities talking to kids and shit. Like, you can do it too. Like,
in fashion, women wore heels or they wore dress shoes. Right. And now the norm is sneakers.
Yeah. Everybody know he's the first with everything. For this nigga not to have no Jordans ever.
I was late to the Jordan party. I don't see any original people. It's all about, oh, here gonna Bottega now.
Excellence.
Welcome back. You're back for season 3. Before I say anything, it's important that you guys like, comment, and subscribe. We need it. We appreciate the love. It's overwhelming. Twin, how you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling good, man. Feeling great. It's a beautiful day. New York City.
Yes, sir.
We're here, season 3. And we have a great guest with us today.
We do.
You know, that's only, like, when you speak of people that define eras and moments in time, the early 2000s, especially New York City, it had to be this lady right here, man, Vashtie. She was the best.
I'm great, thank you.
Thanks for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. So Vashtie, let's talk about it, man. During that early 2000s, New York City, Vashtie was the name we was hearing. Like, back in Chicago, we was hearing Vashtie. Vashtie's dope. Yeah. And we were seeing you all over the place.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, how was that journey? Tell us how that started.
Well, I think that journey started for me as a young kid growing up. I grew up in Albany, which is upstate New York, but was like always really invested in streetwear and sneakers. And I'm sure you guys and some of the viewers might know, like at a certain point, it was kind of an unladylike thing to be into like streetwear and sneakers every day. So I was kind of an outcast. For the mainstream, but I think that for like the hood, for hood culture, I was like, you know, like that was like our style, our culture. And anyway, so as a kid, was obsessed. I also couldn't afford name brand sneakers as a young one. Parents didn't buy me anything name brand, so I think that really spurred on this obsession for sneakers. So I moved to New York City for film school, and I ended up working for James Jebbia, who at the time had Supreme, and he had Stussy. So I worked at the Stussy shop, and so that gave me access to all of like the drops, you know, like all of the Stussy drops, Supreme drops, a lot of things I couldn't fit, but I would either wear or resell. But yeah, I think that for me, especially in the early 2000s, it was streetwear, sneakers, fashion, like it was like a real embodiment of who you were or who you wanted to express yourself as. And I feel like I took that to the max. Like I was wearing sneakers all day, every day. And again, like at that time, it wasn't ladylike. It wasn't like a proper thing to wear. Trying to go into nightclubs wearing sneakers. I mean, it was one thing for guys, but even for girls, you could not go in a t-shirt and sneakers. But I think for me, that just sort of like helped me define who I was. Like I did not want to change. Like I wanted to stay who I was. It was out of comfort, but it was also out of identity. So I feel like I somehow just sort of like made that into who I completely was. And also in that era, I started a blog, which was Vashtie.com. So I was really sharing a lot of my life, my lifestyle, my journey. And I think that's sort of also how I kind of amass, like, I don't like the word following, but I like the word like finding a community of friends, you know, from other parts of the world, like people who identified as me. or with me, not as me, but like I feel like, again, streetwear and sneaker culture, it's completely mainstream now, but at that time it was not common.
Yeah.
And especially for young women, people of color, like, you know, there was like this fine line of like, who am I? Who am I supposed to be? What's appropriate? And I think that I was finding community with my blog, like finding like, you know, people who are commenting or fans or whatever. It was like, and I still meet those people today. And I almost get teary-eyed because I'm like, we were the same. Like we found each other at a time. Obviously we didn't know each other, but you connected with me. That means I ultimately connect with you.
Yeah.
So like hearing that, you know, in Chicago, there were murmurs of me or whatever, like I feel like that makes me feel even more connected to Chicago. I love Chicago. But, you know, I feel like there's a community of us that is now like able to thrive and be ourselves and, you know, be respected and be put in positions of, you know, creativity and all of those things. So I think it's an exciting thing.
Okay, yeah. So speaking of the blog, right? Was that a way? Was that how people connected? Like the people in Chicago per se, because we had friends, Mano and Hollywood Holt, who like for some reason they just knew you. And I never understood, like, so when I first came, not when I first came to New York, but when I came to New York with Mano, it was around CMJ. This guy knew everybody who was cool in New York. And you were one of the people that he introduced me to early on, as well as Telly with Ninja Sonic. A lot of those guys and that whole, you know, I felt like it was a whole era, Kid Daytona. It was just a whole movement at that time, right? And like we often get this idea that, man, New York lets you go in clubs however you want to dress. Was that like something you guys helped usher in, or was it still, you still get that kickback?
I think we were still getting that kickback in the 2000s. Like there were some places you could do it and then some places you couldn't do it. I feel like my blog was, to answer your first question, was a way for me to connect with others for sure. Like it was like, you know, be it me or seeing like a Laylee May or a Hollywood Holt, like all of these people like in other cities kind of representing that was the internet, right? It was like Tumblr, it was blogs. That was our way of like finding each other. And I mean, some of these people are still my greatest friends of all time. So I feel like, you know, it was nice to be able to connect with people that way. And yeah, my blog was just a way to like share my life, my style, to feel less like a weirdo. I know now it's like cool to be like weird, but like at that time it was like a badge of dishonor to be called weird.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, with my blog, it was again like a way for me to express myself, like have ownership of like who I was and also like connect with others. And yeah, I think over time, New York, you know, like the mainstream clubs were not open or available to like the people who were different, but then there were smaller places that were opening up, or they would have like nights where it was like, oh, like this is like the throwback night or whatever, where they would be a little bit more lax about like dress code and all that.
I'm glad you said that because it always seemed like, I remember, rest in peace to Big Bro Clark. I was talking to Clark one time and I was like, yeah, you know, Chicago do the dress code. You know, Clark being Clark was like, what the hell is a dress code? You know what I'm saying? But he made me think that it didn't exist. So that was a great question you asked because obviously he was being Clark, you know what I'm saying? But it's still, I wanted to know, like, damn, you can wear or do whatever you want in a club. And I guess the promoters at home in Chicago give the women the same kickback with sneakers. They get looked down upon and, you know. But my question, first off, we all knew about your blog, you know what I'm saying? We followed what you was doing. So we been knew what you was doing. What sneaker, I'm just gonna ask, like, what made you fall in love with sneakers? Was it a shoe? Was it something you couldn't get? Like, when did you fall in love with sneakers?
I mean, it was something that I couldn't have, and I wanted it. So I think that desire was even before not having the access. I think for most of us growing up in Black and brown culture, especially in that era of like the 90s, you know, sneaker culture was like it. It was like, you know, you might not have a watch, you might not have a car, but you have like those Jordans, you know? So I feel like that was a sort of like, that was part of the appeal. But I think also like, I mean, for me, I still look at sneakers like the way that some people look at, you know, like a beautiful piece of jewelry. I'm like, wow, like, you know, that detail or that color or that colorway, like, you know, I feel like for me, it's really about me. I don't know. It's like a real expression of me. And I think that also because it's something that's been a part of like my identity since being really young up until now, it's something that I've held on to, and it feels sort of like, I don't know, some sort of like a heritage kind of piece to have, like sneakers in my wardrobe, and to continue that. But it's funny because I feel like, I don't know, like 10, 15 years ago, I might have read like some like, not that I get mean comments often, but it was like a comment that was like, okay, what are you gonna be wearing when you're like, in 20 years, you're gonna be wearing t-shirts and sneakers, like
Gym shoes.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, like what am I
for-
supposed to do? Like all of a sudden I transition and I'm wearing like, I don't know, a dress and pearls. I don't know. I mean, maybe on certain days, but like, I think for me, like this is who I am.
So is that what led you to Nike ID?
Nike ID, yes. So that's a great historical reference. I worked at Nike ID, which I don't know, for people who might not know, it was like a bespoke sneaker experience, like 2005, I want to say, 2004, 2005, where you had to be invited, first of all, okay? You had to be of a certain like caliber of person. And I mean, but it was everyone. It was like, I mean, Steve Jobs came, Kobe Bryant, like they had like top tier people, but they also had top tier people from like local cities that were like known in their city. Hello, Dave Jeff.
Shout out to Dave Jeff.
Yes. And so that was an extraordinary opportunity because as a sneaker lover who needed a job at that time, it was the perfect job. The experience was that you would walk into this private space. There was a security guard outside. There was a concierge at the front, and they would check you in, and it was no pay. Like you did not pay for a pair of sneakers because of course you were invited and you were a VIP, and you were able to sit with a sneaker designer of sorts who would like walk you through the Nike ID experience, which I think now it's a little bit, it's not a little bit, it's a lot of it pared down of like the experience because you can just do it at home on the internet.
Right.
But before all of that, this was like a way for you to come and customize your own sneaker. And I mean, to this day, it was probably my favorite job having had. It was just like incredible people that I worked with, but also like meeting incredible celebrities and cool people that I still connect with, now.
So when you was going out, you would just be shitting on people just with one-on-ones that people were going crazy over?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, because it was a way to make a one-of-one. I mean, it wasn't unlimited silhouettes, which I would have loved for that, but definitely to be able to make like your own colorway, to like have something like match an outfit perfectly, it was really nice, yeah.
So where would you say you first got discovered, where people started to be like, when you started realizing people recognize you, when was that moment?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I feel like it was probably, I don't know, my blog. I think it was my blog. I think having, again, that platform and meeting people or telling people like, oh, it's my best friend loves you and we're coming to New York. Can you meet up with us? Like those sort of moments where it was like really connecting with people. That to me was like where I felt like, oh, wow, like I'm being recognized, but also I'm being understood because, again, like this is a community of people that understand me because they're also the same. So I feel like that was when it really started to hit me by sharing like tidbits of my own world, as weird as it was, and, like just showing my cat or like something I got at Supreme and trying it on, like people would comment and be like, oh, wow, like I do something similar, or seeing you, direct music videos gives me this like dream that I can do that too. Like, so.
Speaking of the videos, I mean to cut you, but I think for us places was phenomenal. Like that was just the concept was dope because we were wondering, okay, whoever shoots this video, are they gonna get these 3 people in the room to shoot this video?
Right.
With the egos and whatever it is, but how you did it was just so dope. And I think for me, that was like one of the first things, and I was like, man, who did this? And it was like, they're like, Vashtie. I'm like, yeah, I've heard that name, whatever, this, And then I think from there, it just went crazy. Because ADHD is also that's my favorite Kendrick song.
Yeah.
And that video was dope.
Right.
Y'all shot it here, right?
We shot it here. The Us Placers video, so at the time, so I went from Nike ID and then I was working at Def Jam.
Okay.
And I was in the creative department, and I don't know, it was like the first time I had like a real job, and it was like amazing. Like I loved it, but I also felt very stunted creatively. Like I was not able to, you know, accomplish all the things I wanted to. And so I was working at Def Jam, and we got a copy of Kanye's mixtape. And that song, Us Placers, was on it. And I just remember listening to it nonstop and was like, oh, I want to make a video for this. Wow. Of course, like the opportunity of getting those three incredible artists, you know, in the same room or to do this video seemed impossible to me. And so I was like, how can I make this work? And I was like, oh, you know, like 3 little kid versions of them would be really fun. So I asked my friends. At the time, I didn't have a budget for it. I was like, you know, let me just make something, which I always give that advice. If you want to make something or do anything, like creatively, just start doing it. Use your own money, figure it out, ask your friends to help you. I asked my friends to help. And it's funny because the only kids that showed up to casting were those 3 kids. Wow. And they happened to look just like those artists.
You did the styling as well, right?
Yes, okay. The styling. A lot of it was my own clothes. But I asked friends, like my friend Kunle, who has the brand Iraq, he gave us clothes. My friend Loic, who's at BBC, he gave us clothes. Like we were able to like source a lot of things, and also like from my own closet. But that's how that video happened. And then ADHD with Kendrick was an incredible opportunity also. My old manager, Johnny Shipes, was working with Kendrick and Dave Free, and he was like, oh, I have this artist, he's new, this is his mixtape, listen to it, you know, pick a song. Like he gave me a few options of songs to direct, and I was like, ADHD, hands down, like love that song. I mean, the whole mixtape was golden, but yeah, we shot it over 2 days, like the hottest 2 days in New York City. And I wrote the concept, and Kendrick was like, yeah, I'm into it. So it really worked out. But I think at some point his team, I don't think it was him, his team was like, oh, we want to like add like drugs and that kind of thing. And I feel like I'm conservative when it comes to things like that. I was like, I don't know if we need to show drugs, but also like I didn't think that he did drugs. So I was like, it doesn't make sense to like throw that in for visuals. I was like, I think the idea of really for this that I'm gathering is like, which was a theme in a lot of my videos, was, you know, when you're surrounded by a lot of people, you're in social settings, but you feel very alone. Yeah. So that was sort of like the vibe.
Man, you've been popping for a while, man. Like you got some work. How many dudes then said your name in a video or a song? Yeah. Like you been doing your thing for a while. We all love Vash. How'd you get to Def Jam?
How'd I get at Def Jam?
Yeah.
A woman by the name of Grace Miguel. Grace Harry, I think her maiden name. But so she was at Def Jam. I met her as like a young postgraduate of art school. And she was, at the time, I think she was maybe at Jive. And then she went to Def Jam and was like taking over the whole creative department. And I had shown her my reel, my directing reel from art school. And like just to get advice. I'd met her and she was like, oh, I'll give you some advice on your reel. Anyway, like a few months later after we had met up and she'd given me advice, she's like, oh, I need a new team at Def Jam and I'd love to bring you in. And at the time, my role was like an interesting one because, you know, in today's day and age, everyone is cool because we have social media and the internet to show you how to dress and show you how to cut your hair. Yeah. But at that time, we didn't have like the sophistication through, you know, we didn't have social media and we didn't have a sophisticated internet to that degree. So my job was to kind of come in and make certain artists cool, which I thought was fascinating, but it made sense. It was, you know, a lot of these people can sing, they might not be able to dance or dress, so then there's like a team of people that sort of like help that.
Hold on, so let me ask you this, because you brought this up. Just knowing it because you used the word weird, and we talk about this. When we was weird, we was looked down upon, you know what I'm saying? Right. Now it's cool, and even when you're saying the internet, how do you feel knowing now that everything that you were doing organically is the thing now? Does it make you feel like, yo, I kind of helped get that wave going? Or How do you feel just with the times now? Like, we gonna talk. Like,
Right.
how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel like, yo, it's watered down? Like, do you wish something was different? Like, from your lens, because you was early, what's going on now? Like, what's your feelings?
I feel like it's funny because I was looking at old articles when my Jordan 2 had come out, and one of the articles was from a women's fashion magazine, and it was like, hey girls, like this is the way it was written, hey girls, when you're tired of wearing your heels all day long, you can throw on these cool Jordans. And that was truly the era of what we lived in. Like in fashion, women wore heels or they wore dress shoes.
Right.
And now the norm is sneakers.
Yeah.
It really is. And I think a lot of maybe young people might not understand that that was not the norm.
Yeah.
It was kind of like absurd to be collecting sneakers, to have a different pair of sneakers for a different outfit. So in one way, I feel happy and excited that it is normalized, because there was a time when it was like a strange thing.
Yeah.
But I think there's a small portion of me that's like happy, but then there's like a larger portion of me that feels like there's a lot of creativity and coolness that lacks.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, again, like have this concept of like, oh, like this is the norm. I see people wearing this brand and that and this silhouette, so I'm gonna wear that too. And I feel like you guys can probably also testify to this, that like growing up, a lot of people didn't have good style. Like it was not like, oh, everybody on this block has good style. It was like, oh, maybe it was like that one kid who collected polo rugbies or whatever, and it's like they had their style and they had their look, and that was them. And so now it's like everyone's got a cool outfit on, like everyone.
And honestly, like that's my problem with the internet.
Yeah.
Because it really, and I say this all the time, it takes away from the originality. Like there's no, like I don't see any original people.
No, totally.
On these blogs or on these sites. It's all about, oh, he got a Bottega now.
Right.
So he's cool, he can dress.
No, totally.
You know, that's my biggest problem with it.
Right.
But another thing I admire about you was like the 1992 crew. Like you guys had a movement.
Yeah.
You know, the parties, everything. Tell us about that.
So 1992 was created by me and Oscar, who at the time we were just going to parties a lot and not being able to like get in because like we weren't dressed appropriately or whatever. But we also really had this dislike for VIP and bottle service and dress code. It just felt so stuffy.
Yeah.
And I think for us and like our like core friends, we wanted some place where we just like had a good time, like listen to the music we liked. And at that time also, a lot of people might not remember that most mainstream clubs did not play hip hop. Like a lot, especially in Manhattan, I can't speak for Chicago, but like playing hip hop music was like, oh, then the crowd's gonna be hood or whatever. Like, so they did not play a lot of hip hop at clubs. So we wanted a place where we could like listen to the music we liked and everyone was like open to come and like no one would judge you. So that was sort of the vibe. Yeah, and it lasted from 2006. I mean, our last one was like pre-COVID. It was like maybe 2019.
So was it always at Santos or did you move it around?
So it actually wasn't at Santos. It happened, it first started at Lotus, which was a nightclub on 14th Street in Manhattan.
I heard about Lotus. I hear those Lotus stories.
Yeah. So it was like a lot of like celebrities and cool people. And we had the basement. So that was like one of the nights where they were like a little more relaxed about like who came in. And we moved it around the city, but yeah, we had like incredible people come through.
That's fine. Let's get to your stunting, man. Let's talk about, you had a Jordan, man.
Yes.
You had your own shoe without being an athlete. Well, you are an athlete because you're just a fresh athlete, just the other type of athletes. But how did you feel? How did that happen? Like, I mean, that's an amazing, like, I had a shoe so I can relate, but not a Jordan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, speak on that.
So yes, again, like being a kid who couldn't afford sneakers, and ultimately always wanted Jordans, like the Jordan obsession was like very strong within me. And so when I moved to New York City. I was like in art school. I was working at Stussy. I was like known as a girl who was like always in sneakers, always in Jordans. And that was like my look. And that was sort of like, it became also like my personality. My career at that point was like kind of taking off. I was like, you know, working in like the sneaker community, but also like doing my directing thing and like meeting friends. Like, you know, at the time I was working with like Angelo, who now has Awake, or, you know, my friend Kumai, who has the brand Iraq. So it was just like all of us kind of like downtown, like derelict kids sort of like running around, but like also making a name for ourselves within the community. And I was having a birthday party in 2009. And I remember my friends were like, okay, like you're planning your birthday party. Would it like, tell us the details? And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have, you know, have it at Santos, and Q-Tip's going to DJ, which is incredible.
Absolutely.
And I was like, I want a cake, and I want it to be my favorite thing ever, which is a pair of Jordan 3s, which are on my feet right now. That was also the first pair of Jordans that I bought myself.
Yeah.
And I just felt like it was a representation of me. I'm like becoming this like young professional woman, and also I still love sneakers. So had this birthday party, and because of the cake, it became like a thing. Yeah. So the next day I remember Hypebeast like posted about the party, which at that time it wasn't like, they weren't like this like aggregator of like content. They just were posting things that made sense to their culture. And so they had posted it, and then that made the rounds. And then my birthday party was in April. And then in May of 2009, I also had gotten invited to Kanye's birthday party, and they unveiled a cake Yeezy. And I was like, wait, that's inspired by my cake, but okay, it looks cute too. But anyway, I feel like that also sort of like became like the moment. Yeah. Then fast forward to another month, I run into a friend named Astor Chambers, who had previously been at Reebok. And he's this incredible man that I've met over the years. And so we're just catching up. I'm like, oh, how's your family? How's everything? He's like, oh, good. And I'm like, oh, did you see my birthday cake? It was like on Hypebeast. So I'm like, you know, showing him pictures of it. And he's like, oh, that's right. You're weirdly obsessed with Jordans. And I was like, yes. And he's like, you know, I'm at Brand Jordan now. And I was like, no way. And he was like, listen, we're going to make this happen. We're going to talk tomorrow, and we're going to make a Jordan 2 together. And I was like, okay, you know, people say that, you know, in business, like, I'm going to call you, your people call my people, we'll have lunch. And I didn't think anything of it. And the next day we were on the phone, and we were discussing like what the timeline was, the deliverables, like if I was into it. So shout out to Astor Chambers, because he made that happen.
Yeah, like I only hear great things about Astor. I've met him a couple times, but yeah, everyone who knows him, they speak highly of him. Yeah. He was the Jordan guy. Yeah. You know, and yeah, so a Jordan 2.
You were the first female.
Yep.
Ever.
Yeah.
First woman to design a Jordan. That is correct.
That's history. Like
yeah.
You supposed to be going around the universities talking to kids and shit. Like you can do it too. Like you had a Jordan, and you had a fire Jordan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So all right, so now you did say that the Jordan 3 is your favorite Jordan, right?
Yeah. So we were,
I was in Vegas. Zonum sent me off, man. I went to Vegas, man. But nah, it was so I was there at this at the panel that you were on, at the Sneaker of the Year. One of the biggest takeaways that I got was that they're not introducing new silhouettes. And that how do you have 2 Jordan 4s and 2 Jordan 5s up there for Sneaker of the Year? So I guess my question is, how do you feel about that as well? And what's your Sneaker of the Year?
Well, funny that you asked, because my list was mostly Jordans, and Timberlands were on there too.
I saw that, yeah.
But I feel like, and I proposed this at the panel, which first of all was a great opportunity, and I love that Complex does this panel. Yeah. But I also love more that the community exists so that the panel does exist, because again, there was a time and a place where this was not the norm. So just, you know, I give thanks to them and to us for being still active in the community. But I do feel like we need to incorporate categories, because there were a lot of silhouettes that I saw and I was like, okay, I don't know, like that's not my cup of tea, but I know that there was a lot of people who were like, no, that needs to be on the list. But who am I to say? Like, I mean, I guess I have an opinion, but everyone has an opinion, and maybe we need to like expand
we want your opinion.
Yeah, because you're the first lady with a Jordan.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
They also
I'm
had
the
two
first that.
95s up there. And I'm like, how do you re-release the 95, the OG colorway, and I like it's sneaker of the year? And I'm just like, I mean, I like it's in contention for sneaker of the year. And I'm just like,
I
come on.
definitely didn't get the 95. I like it. I'm not
Yeah.
I love it. But like, we love that 95, but it's like, it's other shit out here.
Yeah.
Man. Like, and we appreciate the jellyfish being up there. I know that's one of Zoe and I's favorite shoe.
It's shit that I like. I like
that Awake.
The Awake
I
is
love
really
the
nice.
Awake.
Yeah.
I love the Awake
Really
5, but
nice.
again,
I love everything cactus. All the cactus joints
Okay.
got me, you know what I'm saying? But it was a fire year for Jordans though. You know what I'm saying? Just being
yes,
honest.
it was, man. But what
It's
about
like
the-
it's like subjective. We argue that we tired of hearing the same shit or seeing it, but
see, I feel like that there needs to be a different category because I like the jellyfish. I wasn't like that familiar with. So when I kind of saw it, I was like, oh, I don't know. You know what I mean? But like, there needs to be a category of like a style of shoe because there is like the basketball shoe, then
Right.
there is like the,
yeah.
you know.
Oh, so you saying break it down like that? But
Yeah.
well, I think because people wear basketball shoes
Yeah,
on the daily now, so
Right, but,
I mean, because that's a basketball shoe.
right.
So,
No, it's true, but I think that like there was a certain category of shoe, like, you know, like a skate shoe, like a Vans, for instance, or like an SB Dunk. Like, I don't know, like there could be like a category of like skate sneaker, you know, running sneaker, that kind of vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
'Cause,
tried to open up.
J Tips had the shoe up there, right?
Yeah, nah, it didn't.
Oh, it didn't make it.
His didn't
Which
make it.
one?
J Tips.
Nah,
His
his
soccer
sneaker
league,
didn't
no?
make it. Nah.
Okay, yeah.
But and they was fire. Shout out to J Tips, but we don't want the political jab. I mean the political bash. Like what is your favorite shoe this year?
My favorite shoe this year. Mind you, I don't have either pair because no one sent it to me. But the Awake Jordans I love. And shout out to Angela, who's my really good friend,
get the
who still didn't send it to me. And we had lunch and he was like, I'm gonna send it to you. I don't know.
Okay.
You know, but also I think at the end of the day, I get sent a lot of things and I'm very fortunate. I'm very thankful. But also I'm fine with things not coming my way. If it's something I really like need to have, I'll just get it myself. And then the brick by brick, I think are beautiful.
They are.
Yeah.
I doubled up on those. They are beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a good shoe. He deserved that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I like everything. I like the cactus dunks. Nobody said nothing about those. You know what I'm saying? The brick was dope. There's a few things on that list I totally don't understand. I'm like, maybe it's some payola. He's not gonna say.
Well, you know what?
not gonna say
Well,
it,
I
but-
will say that there were some things that felt a little bit, you know, orchestrated.
Yeah, I
Not
felt the way
seen,
too.
but I think it was maybe obvious, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
think that,
definitely
you
some
know,
stuff up there. That,
yeah. There's some friends of the friends shit
Right.
going on up here.
so I think that at the end of the day, certain things are still a business. But yeah, there were a lot of things I wasn't made aware of. So I think it was all sort of a surprise to me also.
That's why they got you, because they know that you polite and you're
Right.
political. We should start it.
Because I did hear you mention up there, you said something about the Timberland.
Yeah,
Right.
I said maybe the Timberland should
And
be.
people started booing, and I'm like,
Some people booed, yeah.
Yeah.
No, they booed the Telfar,
they booed the tail.
which I thought was, you know, also still a little problematic because, you know, I think also there needs to be more space for LGBTQ plus and for women
Definitely.
on that panel. But, you know,
Telfar makes some dope things.
yes.
Like, he took New York City by storm.
And I've known him forever. Him, Shane, Raul, like all of these incredible designers who've done their thing. Telfar has been grinding for so long. Yeah.
And then Raul is Hood by Air.
Raul, he was with Hood by Air and now he does Luar.
Luar.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You had a Jordan too. Can you believe that? Like, I don't even get it. Like, I mean, that's just, and you was the first. That's why I don't understand it. Like, and I'm not calling out Nike or Jordan because we all got friends that's friends that's friends. But what's the thing that when you do well with a sneaker, that's just it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, because you're not the only person I know that did a Jordan well. And then you like, what's next? And then it's just like crickets. Like, you haven't spoke, and I know you political, so you're gonna say it the right way. You know what I'm saying? You haven't spoken to anybody with the brand like, yo, what's going on. Like, it's
Oh my
still
God,
space.
no. Like, I'm like, hello, can we reissue this shoe?
Right.
Because it's already past the like 10-year mark.
Yeah.
Now it's about to be, I think it's the 15-year mark. But no, I've been trying.
Yeah.
And maybe I shouldn't say I've been trying. I've been thinking about it and like having loose conversation, but not with anyone at Jordan, which I mean, hello, Jordan. Let's do this. I mean, it needs to be reissued. There needs to be a movement. I think also at the time when it happened, it was sort of an unprecedented moment because there wasn't like a support system. There wasn't a proper rollout. There wasn't like much information given to me because I think that at the time that it happened, it was sort of like an incredible opportunity for me, but I don't think the brand understood what it meant for sneaker culture, what it meant for female sneakerheads, because the sneaker was kind of unveiled. I didn't know the exact date it would unveil. I didn't know what stores it would be in. And
They hit you with the easy shit.
there wasn't like much support. Like I had done like my own release party. I had like kind of promoted it myself. And so that was in 2011, and I feel like they've improved since then. But I think that like, you know, I'm hoping they've improved since then. Like I can't say, but
You know what I'm saying? Laylee gets a lot of stuff. I mean, she has a lot of representation out here. But to your point of women in the space, since you're here, like tell us, we get a lot of requests. And again, I told you off camera, Vashtie was like #1, even though we didn't need it. We knew we wanted, like we know, like y'all, we know exactly who we want. We know who needs to be here. We do appreciate the requests, you know, like the suggestions or whatever, but can you give me 5 women that people need to know about?
oh wow. That's a really good question.
You know, that's your 4th time saying that's a really good question. Then.
I guess we got some good questions.
No, I'm just bullshit. I'm just playing with you. No, we got this thing. He gonna make you say, who's that person? And I'll be like, don't do it. But we want to hear this.
Yeah, we need to know.
Yeah.
The people need to know.
Okay. Well, I feel like they're obvious.
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, Tiana Taylor, obviously.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Laylee May, obviously.
Definitely.
I feel like Melody Asani,
Okay.
I don't know her so well, but like her work, I feel like she's done collaborations. She's also a designer. She's holding it down. Who else?
It could be just somebody who you just like, man, she fly.
Okay. Chloe Sevigny, who is
Yes.
an actress, but also like an it girl, a downtown it girl.
Yeah.
I feel like her style is so unique and so her. Also, when I like dig for like kind of reference photos, I like look at her old photos. She has like one photo of herself wearing like a pair of Air Force Ones, like high top Air Force Ones or mids or whatever. They're a little beat up, but they're like all white. And it's just like, she's like this white girl
Yeah.
in this like weird downtown New York scene in like the mid 2000s, early 2000s wearing these sneakers.
For people who don't know, I mean, I have to interrupt. Go watch the movie Kids.
Yes, Shoes and Kids.
Yeah, then you'll peep, and then you'll be like, oh, I know exactly what she's talking about.
Yes,
Wait.
yes.
One more.
One more. Was that 4? Oh, that was 4. Okay, 5.
One more.
I want to ask a question while you think about it.
Okay.
Why do you love the Jordan 3?
Okay, I mean, the Jordan 3 to me is just a combination of all the greatest textures, colors. I don't know, black and red, which honestly, red is not even a favorite color of mine, even though I'm wearing it today. Sorry about that. Maybe red is my favorite. I'm Trinidadian. Maybe it's because it's kind of Trinidad colors. No, I just think that like, you know, the black, the elephant print, the red, I don't know, it's just a perfect combination. And to me, it feels very street, it feels hood, but it definitely feels like off. Like it feels like it could be, you know, a little more chic. It could be a little bit more like elevated. I think it's an all around shoe. And also it was my first Jordan that I bought myself. First Jordans period. So I think that for me, I have like a real connection. And I think as someone who has like, you know, traveled the world and like been successful in so many realms, like for me to have something that anchors me to an age and an era when I was like really just not even emerging, I was just existing and like entering these spaces where I didn't know who I was. I wasn't sure what I was doing, and, you know, trying to make sense of everything. For me, it's like a beautiful way to sort of like stay connected to her as I'm now certain of myself, as I'm now also still questioning, like, am I going in the right direction? Like, so I feel like it sort of like keeps me connected.
Well, I agree. That's my favorite Jordan of all time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say, like, that's the first one Lino bought, but he didn't buy it in that color. I didn't have the Jordans at all, but
Crazy.
that's the first one he had. But I just feel like it's the most it's big, right?
Hold on, guys. Everybody know he's the first with everything. For this nigga not to have no Jordans ever. I was late to the Jordan party. But because actually, to your earlier point, well, nobody buying them for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then in Chicago's, oh no, like they taking them from you.
Right. It was
Like,
still dangerous to have them.
They were really taking.
That was going on here too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were taking them off your feet, and so our mother went on that, and our grandmother was like, "Nah, we're not doing that." So
Right.
I had to find a way to just not like Jordans.
Right.
It's like, who I don't want that shit anyway. It was y'all could have, but nah, we couldn't get them. But actually, when my brother got his first pair, it was the 3.
Okay.
And I was like, the shoes just look big because we were still wearing the Jabos, the Brand X. They were tapered at the bottom. And this shoe we wear 13s and 14s was so fucking big, it just looked kind of crazy at the time. So I was like, I ain't really like it like that. But the black is crazy though.
Right.
Yeah. The Jordan 3 was ridiculous.
How many pairs you think you bought of that same shoe?
Oh, I don't even know. Countless.
Like you ever tripled and doubled up, or you just wait? I need a
Sometimes.
fresh one.
Yeah.
So what's going on? So we know Vashtie the DJ.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? Like, what's next? What you got happening? So I know you're a parent now.
Yes, I'm a parent.
Parent, a wife. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
But yeah, so what's next for the world?
Well, so I have I do a monthly party for families called Apparently Kidding. And so the idea is basically like, recreating the nightclub for parents and caretakers whose nightlife, as a parent, your nightlife slowly drifts away. It's one thing to have a babysitter at night, but in the morning you still have to parent, right? Like at 6, 7 in the morning, whatever.
Drop-offs.
Exactly. They don't care. Your kids don't care where you've been the night before. Like you need to do it. So the party is a way to sort of like give parents this access to nightlife. We book DJs who are like top tier, like world known DJs. You come to the party, there is a bar, you can have a mocktail, a cocktail, or a juice box. We joke that we play everything from Travis Scott to Taylor Swift and Trolls and everything in between. So it's also a way for parents to connect with their kids because, not that this is like so important, but like for me, I think it is important that kids know like, oh, this is who Sade is, or this is Michael Jackson. Like you should know this music for conversation, personality. Like, I don't know, like I think it's important. And there's a lot of people, young people, even very, very young people who aren't having the access because they don't watch music videos. They don't, they don't see the music. They kind of hear it maybe in passing. And so they don't experience it. So it's sort of like a space where you can teach your kids, how to do the cha-cha slide and like, just have a good time. And then I have some projects that I'm working on. I just wrapped up something with Fanatics. We did a WNBA collaboration. And that was a beautiful varsity that we made. Brian Blakely, who was in Brooklyn, like handmade the jackets that I designed. So yeah.
Okay. Are those going to be available for men as well?
Well, it's sold out, actually. I don't even know why I'm talking about it, but it's sold out. And it was unisex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you can get me a 2X.
Okay.
I think Zoe might be a medium now.
Yeah.
See, Coke diet. But nah, but I just think one with our platform is being received. We kind of go at the brands in a good way. I think Jordan gonna reach back because it only makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Even the story can be a 3 now because your obsession. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense. I feel like storytelling is what's missing right now. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this time, shout out to the clips, is showing the world that it's cool to be grown.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's coming back. You know what I mean? And then even with us, we gonna need you for some Ghetto Runway parties to DJ. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
I'm here.
We doing our thing, but feel like this was a great episode. Like Twin said, you've been highly requested. Like Vash, you know what I'm saying? And
I appreciate
we
that.
thank you for coming out. And
Anything we forgot? Anything,
No.
I know we forgot that number 5, but it's cool. I ain't gonna press you on that 5th girl, but
Oh, right.
we ain't gonna press you on that.
It's gonna come to me as soon as I'm done.
Yeah.
appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. Check us out. Ghetto Runways. Peace.